Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. My name is Reverend Carrie Masters, and I'm going to be leading us in a meditation this morning. So I'm going to invite you to sit comfortably on your cushion or in your chair with your feet on the floor or on a pillow. And rest your arms gently in your lap, hands facing upward in a receptive position. And just allow your back to be straight, but not tense. And I invite you to pay attention to any part of your body that might be tense or tight, and just send love there. And relax. Take a nice big deep breath, breathing in, holding, and release. And again, breathing deeply. Hold. And release. And now just become attuned to the natural breathing of your body. And just notice how the breath comes in and the breath moves out. And just notice this for a few moments. You can soften your awareness around your breathing and listen to the words of Dr. Ernest Holmes, who wrote in The Science of Mind, "The divine plan for me is perfect. The divine plan for me is perfect." He also wrote, "I am held in the mind of God as a complete and perfect expression of life and truth. I am held in the mind of God as a complete and perfect expression of life and truth. Gently repeat those words as a mantra for the next few minutes. As your mind may have swept you away into thought, gently bring yourself back to noticing your breath. The breath that comes into your body and is released. The divine plan for me is perfect. I am held in the mind of God as a complete and perfect expression of life and truth. back gently to the breath. The divine idea for my life is perfect. I am held in the mind of God as a complete and perfect expression of life and truth. Affirm this for yourself. I am a divine idea in the mind of God. I invite you now to bring your awareness back into the room. Wiggle your fingers and toes. You can move your head from side to side if you wish, and gently open your eyes. Thank you for joining us in this meditation this morning. Our service will begin in just a few minutes.
Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. Just where I'm supposed to be. And my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. Just where I'm supposed to be. And my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 Yeah. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. And my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. Getting a message loud and clear. Getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Excellent. Thank you, Gilman. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Gilman. So, good morning. My name is Richard Borges, and I am a member of the board. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. So, no matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here. We are in an open, inclusive community that honors all people from every background, all races, sexual orientations, gender expressions, and spiritual paths. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. If you are here with us for the very first time, please raise your hand and give us a wave. Welcome to our service today. So if you're in the Zoom room, go ahead and unmute yourselves right now. And now let's greet everyone at our service today in the Zoom and in our sanctuary. Welcome. And now here's... where is everybody? Okay.
Good morning.
Hello. Morning.
Morning, everybody.
There you
Good
go.
morning.
No, we can't say. I'm going to assume they're waving. All right. So we good? All right. So, and now here's Gilman with our century music.
me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is well. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful. All is well. All is beautiful. All is
And so going right from that centering music that is so beautiful, the God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. We move into our opening prayer. And so I invite you to close your outer eyes, to open wide those inner spiritual eyes that see the truth. And the truth is that God is all there is, the divine, that creator, that infinite one, whatever you choose to call it, is truly all that there is in the universe. And it has created all things, big and small, seen and unseen. And this divine presence has created each one of us out of its image and likeness. We are the divine in form, expressing this infinite presence with joy, with love, and with peace. And I know that as we express this today, we do so here at this Center for Spiritual Living with great joy and great enthusiasm, because we know that there is only one life, and that life is our life. And so I bless everything that is unfolding for us this morning, for everyone in our Zoom room, for everyone watching this on YouTube or Facebook Live, for everyone here in our sanctuary. I know for each one of us that we are lifted up and brought to a new level of consciousness where we know and understand that the divine is who we are. And so I give thanks for all that is about to be revealed during this service. I give thanks for its goodness and its perfection, because it is Spirit expressing through each one of us. And so in this gratitude, I release my word into that law that says yes, into that divine creative medium that is always producing what thought we put into it. And so I release these words into that law, knowing it is already done, and we can anchor it together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Our spiritual reading for this morning comes from a book entitled Life Visioning. It's written by Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. He has that little tiny church in Los Angeles. Only about 10,000 people there. All right, let's take a look at what he wrote. By asking what qualities you must cultivate in support of your vision, you come into direct contact with your growing edge. We cannot receive what we are not willing to become in consciousness. So by asking, what must I become? How must I expand my consciousness? You begin to consciously transform. The more you are committed to your evolutionary progress, the more you are willing to take action on the responses you receive. The truth is that within our core self, we already know what we must become to live our vision. Yet because humans have a tendency to fear change, we avoid or silence this inner voice. After all, we can't predict the overall effect it will have on our life structures. We may lose friends, mates, jobs, cherished opinions, habits, and behaviors. Our willingness to change allows us to participate in our growth and development with greater ease, with trust in ourselves and confidence in the process. And now Gilman.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world, yeah. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright, blessed day and a dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, yes, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of the people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I ever know. And I think to myself, yes, what a wonderful world. Now the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of the people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I do love you. I hear babies that cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I will ever know. And I think to myself, yes, what a wonderful world. I said, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes.
Thank Thank you, Gilman, so much. That particular song is one of my favorites, and I'm really glad that Gilman sang that this morning because it fits right into what I want to talk about. Like the song says, if we walk down the street knowing that it is a wonderful world, we are going to experience people who speak to us, and we'll experience friendliness and love. If we walk down the street with the idea that the world, sucks, then it's not going to be that way. It will be as we perceive it, because our thoughts bring us our reality. Yes? Yes, all right. So in the process of visioning is a spiritual practice, and it allows us to open up to the beautiful world that we wish to have. And it isn't that we're saying, okay, I want clouds of white, I want skies of blue, I want people shaking hands, I want this, I want that, I want a new car, I want a new house. And it's not that at all. It is going into a meditative process and asking, what is the divine idea for my life? There is a greater idea for your life right now, right here, right next to you, invisible, and all you need to do is tap into it. We need to tap into that divine presence to ask, what is that divine idea? And then we ask, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And then we wait for the answers. Wow, it's really amazing. Now, I know I've spoken about this a couple of weeks ago, but I just want to review to kind of get us up to speed on where we're going today with this visioning process. But I want to tell you that when I was in ministerial training back in the olden days, it was a long time ago, and Dr. Michael Beckwith was one of our instructors, and he taught the visioning class. And so I got to hear the teaching from the master. I just felt so honored. And Dr. Michael explained to us that when we are visioning, we are opening up to a new idea that is already present, that we don't have to make happen. It is just there, ready for us to be aware of it. This goes right along with, is God dinging a phone somewhere? Oh, okay. Just wondering. All right. The thing is that when we become aware of the ideas that are flowing into our awareness during the process, what we're doing is allowing ourselves to be open and available to be a part of that divine idea that is ready for us. And it's already here. And then we ask, what's next? What is the other question? We ask, what must I release in order to live this vision? Now, I talked about release last week, and release is all about letting go of things that no longer serve us. And we could probably think of a few things that no longer serve us. Maybe there's a closet that we need to clean out, or a cupboard under the sink, or the garage, or whatever that might be. But I'm not talking about the physical stuff. That's important to clean that out and release it. But I'm talking about that inner stuff that needs to be released so that we can really tap into the divine idea. Because once we let go of everything that we no longer need in our life, we're more available to everything that is ready to make its place with us in our experience. Does that make sense? Okay. So then we begin to ask, what must I embrace? What must I embrace? You know, every time I hear the word embrace, well, not every time, but I had an opportunity to read something this week that talked about how embrace has a level of enthusiasm to it. So if we want to embrace a higher idea of our life, we might want to be enthusiastic about doing that embracing, don't you think? It's sort of like when we meet someone and we want to have that friendship, or maybe it turns into a love relationship, but a year ago, one of the first things we would do is embrace, give a hug. Yes? Okay, we'll get to do that again, I'm positive. But embracing like that reminds me of the time that my now 17-year-old grandson was about this high. He was maybe 3 or 4. And I came over to their house one Sunday after church, and I had on a new outfit. And I'd look pretty snazzy, if I do say so myself. I had on white crops, brand new white crops, had on a great top, and I walked up to the front door, and here comes my 3-year-old chocolate-covered grandson. And I went, oh no! But he was so enthusiastic about giving me a hug that I couldn't say no. And so I got down to his level, and we ended up sitting on the ground, and my pants got all dirty, and so what? I was as enthusiastic about receiving that hug as he was about giving it. And this is what we do when we ask, what must I embrace in order to live the divine idea for my life? What is it that I can embrace? Like it said in the reading from Michael Beckwith, Life's Visioning, he says that we can't have or experience what we're unwilling to receive. And if we're unwilling to embrace the divine idea, then we're not going to receive it. The process will be blocked. This is very much like quantum physics. There's the particle, there's the wave. When you place your attention on a particle, it becomes a wave, and it becomes a thing, and then it grows, and so on and so forth. So, when we place our attention on what it is that we need to embrace, it expands in our awareness. If you're not sure that I'm right about this, all you need to do is start complaining about something. And when you start complaining about something, the thing that you're complaining about grows in your thought process, in your consciousness, and it gets worse and worse and worse because you keep complaining about it. What if you stopped complaining? What if you stopped doing that and decided to embrace all of the good that is in any experience, including the divine idea for your life? So in this embracing step, we're really asking, what must I be receptive to that will bring me into a greater alignment with the vision? What possibilities am I opening to? Or what opportunities for growth am I welcoming? Yeah, it's a big step to embrace. And then, but once you do, by the way, once you do embrace the divine idea that comes through in that part of the process, then you can move forward into embodying. What must I embody? What must I bring into my being that allows the divine idea to be an amazing part of my experience? What must I embody? Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, we should take the highest thought we have and attempt to enlarge this consciousness until it embraces a more vital concept of reality. Take the highest thought we have and attempt to enlarge on it. Well, if we focus on that highest thought that we have, it will expand in our awareness. He says consciousness in this sense means an inner embodiment of ideas. Yeah. And when we allow ourselves to expand on that highest thought, then we are allowing ourselves to bring it into our beingness. And it sets a feeling tone for us that moves us forward into this experience of the highest idea for our life. In the Science of Mind magazine this month, there's a wonderful article by Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, who is down the road in Riverside at that Center for Spiritual Living. He says that embodying is an act of demonstration. Now, what he's saying here is that embodying is an act of manifestation. Demonstration and manifestation in our teaching are one and the same. To embody something is to go beyond intellectual knowledge and heartfelt understanding. Embodiment means we have so assimilated an idea in our consciousness that it has taken form. It's knowing that we know what we know what we know. We know and we know and we know. When we ask envisioning, what must I embody? We are asking, what must I know so deeply that it takes form as me? Wow. All right. So then we move along down this visioning road to becoming. We then ask, what must I become? Now, when I first started visioning, I thought, okay, well, what must I become? I need to become more willing, and I need to become more loving. And, I had some kind of just general overall ideas about it, which is not bad for a beginner. I was doing pretty good. In fact, I was able to vision and receive cars. I was really good at manifesting cars through this process. So I didn't do a bad thing, but I was just not quite at the deep level that we can all aspire to in becoming. Becoming is an act of allowing. It opens us up. Of course, the whole visioning process is about opening up so that we can be the vision, that we can come to it. We are already the divine idea in the mind of God. Do you believe that? All right. Sometimes that takes a little while to get down to the heart area, but you are a divine idea in the mind of God, and when you know that, you're allowing that divine idea to come forth as you. In the story of Jesus walking on the water, Jesus walked on the water, and Peter stepped out of the boat and was able to walk on the water because he knew who he was in that moment. And if you'll remember the story, he began to sink. And I believe it was because of his doubt. And sometimes we do sink into the whole messiness of human life with doubt and fear, all of that stuff. But when we know who we are, we can step forward and do amazing things. When we ask envisioning, what must I become? or well, what must I become? We're actually asking, what divine quality or qualities within me am I being called to remember as my truth? What am I being called to remember as my truth? And being the truth in form allows you to step into the vision. You don't have to pull on it. It pulls on you and brings you to it. Michael Beckwith says, our willingness to change allows us to participate in our growth and development with greater ease, with trust in ourselves and confidence in the process. First, we must be, then we become. And then the vision pulls us to it. We don't have to manifest it. It's already there. It's already in the mind of the infinite. We release and let go of all of the obstacles that we have placed in our own way. We get our bloated nothingness out of the way. That's ego, by the way. We embrace a new idea, embody a new belief, and we become that which we already are. And in doing all of that, we transform ourselves and we are in tune with the vision and we are in alignment with it. The vision already is. It's already there. In our transformation, we come to its realization. Now, there's a step in visioning that happens usually at the end of the process. And this step is doing a prayer. And here in our teaching, it's called a spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. In this affirmative prayer, we bring to mind the things that we need to release. And those things that we need to release, we place in our affirmative prayer, knowing that they are already released. And then we also take what it is that we are to become, what it is we are to embody, what it is we are to embrace. We take all of those things that came to us in the process and place those in our spiritual mind treatment. And that allows us to clear away all the things that we don't need. It allows us to bring into our life all of those things that we know we are. It allows us to attune ourselves to the highest idea of our life, and it allows us to really realize that we are the infinite, and we are living the divine idea. I've spoken a lot about Michael Beckwith this morning, and I just want to explain that over 20 years ago, he formed a group in his living room. There were about 12 people there. And they began to experiment with this process called visioning. He had invited people he knew were in a good spiritual place, and they all visioned together using these same questions that I'm explaining to you today. And they decided, well, not they, but Spirit led them to understand that they were to have their first service on a particular date. And so they did. Over 300 people attended service the first day. That church has since grown to probably over 10,000. I can't even imagine it being smaller than that. But I know they have multiple services. They're in Los Angeles. They do a lot of community work. There is so much that came through all of that visioning process that took place that it allowed not only that center to thrive and grow, but it allowed each person within it to thrive and grow and embody exactly who they are. And don't you suppose that all of those people are living the divine idea for their life right now? Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, it really all starts with embrace. Because when we embrace the idea that I can do visioning and I can step into the divine idea for my life, we are on the road to something magnificent. So if it starts with an embrace, what do we need to do first? Open our arms. So I'm going to invite you to just all of you on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Zoom, and everyone in the sanctuary, I'm going to invite you all to stand up just for a moment and stretch your arms out wide like you were going to embrace. And then put one hand on one shoulder and one hand on the other shoulder. And just squeeze, gently squeeze. Embrace yourself. That comes first. All right. You can let go if you want to. And you can sit down if you want to. So your spiritual practice for this week is to ask yourself, what must I embrace? What must I welcome into my life? And then ask, what must I embody? And then, what must I become? And if you need to, you can do this more than once. You can do it every day if you like. But you can also begin with the question, what is the divine idea for my life? You see, as we do this, it becomes a practice, and the lines of communication that we cannot see begin to really communicate with us. And it tells us exactly what we need to know in order to live our very best life. So today, our affirmation for today and this week is, with open arms, I embrace my transformation. So let's say that together. With open arms, I embrace my transformation. And so it is. Wonderful. Thank you. And now here is Gilman.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. One side decide to change my mind. God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance decision right here and now. Love, it's my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. It's my decision right here and now.
All right, I'm going to invite Richard Borges to come up to the front here. He's doing our announcements today. And I would like all of you to show him a little bit of love. Come on up. Show him a little bit of love because this is the first Sunday that he's done it in this genre. So welcome, Richard.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ed, thank you. Start with an right? So receive your midweek boost every Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Reverend Dr. Renee Hart facilitates a beautiful meditation followed by an inspirational message. It's on Facebook Live from 7 to 8 p.m. Our sanctuary is now open on Sunday mornings so that you can enjoy Sunday service in person. We have all of the COVID safety precautions in place so you can feel safe. Of course, you can continue to watch our service using Zoom, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube when you watch one of our services. Our service is good online, but it's even better in person. After service today, those attending on Zoom can stay right where they are, and those of us in the sanctuary can gather around the camera to say hello and visit with each other. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Richard, for doing that. All right. It's now time for our offering. This is the moment where we get to give back to our spiritual nourishment. This is the time for us to motivate the law of circulation to begin working in our lives. So, and there's many ways for us to give to your Center for Spiritual Living. You can give using the donate button on our Facebook page and on our website page, on the landing page there on the website. You can donate using Venmo. You can donate using Zelle that you've set up through your bank. And you can use PayPal, or you can write a check and mail it to our center here. Or you can write a check and drop it by and put it in our secure mailbox outside the door on the parking lot side. No matter how you give and no matter how much you give, we appreciate every gift that we receive. Every gift is blessed and sent to do its perfect work in the world. And so now we're going to bless our offering. And if you wish, you can put your offering over your heart. And let's repeat our offering affirmation after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world. And it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And for those of you in the sanctuary, there is a giving bowl up at the front of the sanctuary.
As I give, so do I receive, joyfully and gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully and freely. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, offering my first and best. As I give, so do I receive, knowing how I've been blessed. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive.
Thank you so much, Gilman, for all that you do. Let's give Gilman a nice round of applause for all of his talent. And I'd like us all to thank David in the sound booth, who just does miraculous things back there. Yes. And I want to thank each of you here in the sanctuary and online. Thank you for being here today. And now we're going to go into our closing healing prayer. And after that, we're going to have our closing song, and I'm going to invite you to get up and dance if you want to do that, because moving your body is a good idea. So let's just turn within for a moment for our closing healing prayer. Ooh, and as we turn within, we close our outer eyes so that we can truly focus on the inner essence of the truth of who we are. And that inner essence is the divine. It is God. It is the Creator. It is abundance. It is love. It is joy. It is peace. It is all of the attributes that we could ever think of, and so much more. This presence and power is wholeness and beauty and perfection on every level. And I know that each one of us are created from all of that. And we embody all of those qualities that are given to us from the divine. And I know that each one of us is a deep, deep blessing to this planet, to our families, to our friends, to our communities, to ourselves. And so in this knowing, I speak my word this morning for all of those who may be mourning the loss of a loved one. The loved ones who have made their transition from this life experience into the next dimension. And we simply know the truth that those who are moving forward in their spiritual life into that next dimension, they are blessed and they are whole. And I know for everyone who is grieving their loss, I know that there is comfort and there is a healing taking place. I speak my word for every person who is becoming immunized with the healthy juice, I like to call it. And I know for each person who receives that healthy juice, they are lifted up in wholeness and perfection. Reactions to anything can just fall away. And the response to that immunization is peaceful and loving and brings joy. I speak my word for anyone who is without shelter this day. I know that being without shelter must be difficult at best. And I know that all of those who are out in the world serving these people with all of the necessities that they need to make it through from day to day, I know that every one of them is blessed. And they are the blessing. And all of the people who are without shelter are also blessed with even more of a divine idea for their life, and they continue to step forward into that life. I know that all circumstances are healed so that only love and only inspiration, only growth and consciousness prevails. I speak my word this morning to know the truth about our country and the world, and I know that there is peace. Peace is the presence of God, and the presence of God is everywhere. And so I know that peace is truly everywhere. We might not see it, but we can hold that higher thought to know that truth. Peace. Peace is the heart of God. I speak my word for so many who are in need of abundance, of perfect jobs, of money. And I know that every aspect of their life, every detail of their life is already taken care of by that divine idea that is pushing itself through each of these individuals. And so I know that there is more than enough money to spare. There is more than enough abundance to spare. And I know that as we move through this time together, that this country, our humanity, becomes even more abundant in body, in mind, in spirit, in finances, on every level. So I give thanks for all that is taking place to bring forth all things that I have put into this affirmative prayer. I give thanks to know the truth that the law always says yes. And the law is working on our behalf behind the scenes, bringing forward everything that we place into it so that we can see it and touch it and feel it. And so I give thanks that this is already done in the heart and the mind of the infinite. And so we simply allow it to be, as we say together, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Our closing song.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. This is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. My faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right. Stick around for our fellowship time. We'll just be chatting and getting to know each other, and won't be very long. And in our Zoom room, we'll be able to see some folks and chat with them as well. Thank you for attending.